Hey guys, this is Vengeful Shadows here. We're going to be doing a quick video over a few cards of a market watch. Hopefully, when we've seen some prices go up and down with them, and especially the ones where we've shown today, they're going to be going up. And we're going to be going over a few cards that we covered last time that have seen either price increases or decreases because they're about to go up again. All right. So, and again, if you like any of this content, we got a Twitter, got a Twitch, and of course, what you're watching on right now, the YouTube. So definitely consider dropping a follow or a sub on the YouTube, whatever. But let's hop right into it, okay? So, first up, we got Underdog. Right, this little guy, real cool secret rare card. Honestly, super cheap right now. Shouldn't be good for a reprint for a little bit. So if it ends up seeing some play in the metagame, it's going to see definitely a price increase. And as always, this is not financial advice. This is some cardboard advice that I have an addiction to, alright? So here we go. Underdog, continuous trap, okay? During your turn, you negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent controls. During your opponent's turn, they negate the effects of all face-up monsters you control. Okay, so on your turn, you basically are able to skill drain the opponent, and on their turn, your monsters are skill drained as well. So it kind of has that negative side to it. Like it says, it's the underdog. Okay, so kind of ideal for going, I want to say first, but like in those decks, they're going to be kind of like third turn decks. Okay, where you establish on first turn, finish on third turn. All right. Whether that be a board full of negates or a board that's going to be able to push through negates and kind of can seal the deal, you know. But like I said, it is a secret rare, all right. And which that one, Blazing Vortex. All right, yeah, secret rare out of Blazing Vortex. So again, you don't see them like unless they're pulled like once a box type stuff. So as we know, secret rares can be pretty hard to come across. First endearments we're seeing go for $1.20 before shipping. I'm gonna round up. We gotta say about $2, okay? Because you gotta spend $2 to get one of these. So they're about a $2 card, and they've been just dropping in price. Okay, so they're probably not gonna drop too much more below $1. It's definitely a perfect time to be picking those up. All right, and as you see, some people have multiples, mainly just one. It's kind of rough when you got to pick up 3 from different sellers, but if you get lucky, like, you know, down here, you got a guy with 13 if you want to get a play set, okay, and if you push over 5, you get your free shipping. So, Underdog, if you don't have it, now's the perfect time to pick them up. You could probably get some in trades too if you got some locals by you, but definitely think it's going to be a good card overall. To be seen. But it could go up to obviously easily 5s, but let's say like a meta deck would come out that would run 3 of this card. I mean, it would be pushing over $20 a piece. So you could definitely make some good money off that. All right. And if you have them, I wouldn't recommend getting rid of them right now unless you got unless you're that guy sitting there with 19 of them. But is it good right now? No. Would it be good in the future? I definitely could think so. I mean, we saw Dark Ruler No More, obviously strong. You can't respond to it. That's why it's so strong. This card, you have to literally have them take their turn. You take your turn and flip it up, unless you're negating a monster effect on your turn that is like beneficial or something, because it would like negate it on their turn, like a Beast King Barbaros or a Facilier Dragon to get a virus off. But you can, you know, other stuff. Or you can chalice it. Like I said, you know, it's one of those where it's like you activate it, negate their effects on your turn, and if you would need to, you can droplets it or get rid of it on their turn so your monsters are still alive. So that's a potential we're going to be seeing it used for, definitely. Especially with the monster effects being able to remove it, getting benefits off their removal, and then on their turn, you know, if you have a second one, you can reset and activate again for your following turn to negate. But that's enough about Underdog. I definitely think it's underrated, okay? Next one up, Lightforce Sword. Okay, so I'm gonna keep it real. It's a good card. All right, don't hate me too much. I think the card's amazing. I think it's been really good for a while. It's nothing like a pointer or anything. I think a pointer's still super strong, but especially comboed with cards like that, Lightforce Sword is it's decent. I mean, we like go through a bunch of cards just to hit a card out of the opponent's hand. Obviously, you can normally, like, if it's a monster, you can use it in resources later. But like we see other traps using it, being used to hit cards out of the opponent's hand. So Lightforce Sword, banish one random card from your opponent's hand. That's the card that is like honestly the part that scares people the most is the random part. Okay, and then you banish it face down. I think that's obviously we know that's good. During your opponent's fourth standby phase after this card's activation, return that card to their hand. Okay, so normally you're gonna be hitting this out of the main phase. So they're gonna have essentially like 5 turns without the card. Okay, so that turn, and then like I guess they'll get it back on the 4. So 4 turns without it, and then if it's a hand trap, like that's super good because it's obviously like both turns without it. And as we like see, like as Yu-Gi-Oh progresses, there's not like a bunch of like dead cards in hand. Like you normally have like your starters, your extenders, and like if you can hit the extender off like with Lightforce Sword, like you're obviously doing pretty well. Like if you can shut down their initial summon, like Torgai negated, okay, well they're gonna go to the extender. If you can hit that other hand with the Lightforce Sword, you're looking pretty good. And again, if you're comboing it with other cards like a pointer or like Mind Crush. I mean, Mind Crush is good. It's had its like super time in the sun. Right now, it's good. Like against those decks, you like know cards are in their hand, but like won't benefit from going to the grave. Unfortunately, a bunch of cards have banished from the grave effect. So Mind Crush has kind of been like, moving out till we see it predominantly hit again. But like, yeah, if you do things like a pointer or you hit the card that you like know you need to hit, and then they have like another copy of a card or a second card, like you said, the extender. Lightforce Sword is definitely a good option because we also see people where they'll play their hand super tactfully, where it's like, all right, they have to bait it around the Dragoon's negate and keep going. Because once again, it's a trap. So you obviously went first before you used this card. So you got cards on your board already to establish, either it be trap tricks to flip their stuff face down, or traps to negate, or hand traps to negate, or Dragoon to negate. Like I said, like nowadays in Yu-Gi-Oh, you have to tactfully play how you play your cards. So you are holding good cards in your hand. All right. And like you kind of have to think about it how you play. All right. So when you're holding those cards in your hand to kind of like get the extender out, you don't want to just play the extender on the board because if something happens to it, you're screwed. That's why it's called the extender. So you will be able to hit those out of the hand with Lightforce Sword more than not because they're going to have 1 to 2 cards in the hand. Like by the time you're flipping this thing up, if you play it like kind of strategically. That's the thing. I mean, you can have the player that just flips it up main phase before it's even or like standby phase before you even get through, you know what I mean? Or I guess it's activation, but like there's wrong ways to play the card. Like you have max cards in hand, nothing's revealed, you flip it up, just hit a random card. I guess that sometimes like that can be good. You can randomly hit the lightning storm that's not going to blow your back row or something, but obviously it'd be better to like wait for them to activate and then you start chaining. So then there's a card out of their hand, then you hit another card. So you're saying like there's just better ways to play it than just like ripping it out as soon as you see it. So that you get like the best like possibility for hitting the card that matters. Okay, it's a lot of math involved with the Lightforce Sword, and like I said, like the more you combo it with anything else that hits out of the hand or is like lets you see their hand at all, like it's super strong. So then you'll know when to use it. You can kind of tell at that point, all right, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do this. I'm gonna Lightforce Sword, I'm gonna hit the card, hit the obelisk out of your hand. You can't tribute 3 Kaiba. It'll be great. All right. To the market side of it, not just the playability side. The other reason I'm very, very happy with that card in general, like, because once again, this is like market watch, not just like that card's insane or should be used in the meta or anything, but this is a card we should be looking at, okay? Because right now, a bunch of stuff in Legendary Collection, Yugi's World, is going up because it's just hard to get. I mean, a bunch of them are like decent printings of rarities that back then people didn't kind of like appreciate. Now people do. And as we see, Lightforce Sword from that set is the only hollow version of it. And I'll be real, it's kind of like it, I don't want to say like a super collector card or anything like that, but I mean, for the people who like watched the anime or read the manga, like, this card like just completely saved ass. All right. Like we know that. It was awesome. We have all commons. We got some retro packs over here. Speed dual decks, dark beginning ones, so we'd be seeing RP2s and DB1 commons, like seeing some light if prices were to go up. Obviously, rare first eds would probably be the second to the super you'd grab, and then you got our, retro pack and dark beginning. I wouldn't touch the starter decks. And then, but the one I'm looking at and have picked up a few, somebody was selling some, is Super Lightforce Sword from Legendary Collection 3 Yugi's World. Okay. When this card was super rare, honestly, it was super clean. It was a clean looking card. I picked up a few. Yeah, we got near mint first eds, literally like $1.20 or $1.50. You know what I mean? Like that's what we're looking at. Again, like Underdog, very cheap card. These are penny stocks right now, okay? So pick up a few, pick up a lot, whatever you want to do. There's only 2 pages too. And that's the other thing. Like, look at that. I didn't even like really notice that. Like the first time I was going through, like, we're going to go down. Look at this. So for a secret rare out of that, like one of the newer packs, we got 16 pages of cards. Okay. That's availability. That's a lot of supply for no demand. Okay. But Lightforce Sword, once again, there's no demand, but there is not a lot of supply either. Obviously, it could go up if there was a demand, like, but again, you had to have been like, it's a Legendary Collection Yugi's World. I want to say like people didn't buy it a lot, but I don't know. Like people would buy it, but not everyone would just like sit there and drop $20 on a Legendary Collection back then. It just really wasn't like super worth it unless there were like cards like Sixth Sense, like that came out in one of those sets. I'm not even, I don't know if it was this one or the Joey's one that one came out, and I'm gonna keep it real with you. I kind of forget, but both those are like, nowadays they're going up just because like the reprints and the rarities are just super clean. Oh god, what is going on? That's ugly. All right, we're just gonna have to do that over here. But yeah, so like we're just seeing, like I said, a bunch of the Legendary Collection stuff going up in price. And I think Lightforce Sword as a card that hits out of the hand, as we know, is just super strong for Yu-Gi-Oh! Right, so that is Lightforce Sword. Next card on the list. And if I mispronounce this, I do apologize. Definitely Ancha Mufreets. I don't know. But it is a pendulum, okay? And it's a light, level 5, spellcaster 1800 pendulum. And it's interesting, I definitely saw this get played the other day in a rated game. Super strong. Obviously, you're not going to play it in every deck or even like a majority of decks. But for things like Monarchs and things like that, it is definitely strong. If you have no cards in your extra deck except itself, you can destroy it, then draw 1 card. And then you can only use that effect once per turn. And that's a pendulum effect, guys, so if I didn't clarify. So yeah, it's a pendulum effect. You place it in the zone, and then you can blow it up, draw a card. So free upstart, all right? That's pretty sweet. Now, what really makes it even better is, again, don't get level 5, okay? And then as the monster effect, it cannot be normal summoned or set. It must be special summoned from your extra deck face up by having no cards in your extra deck except itself. So if you have multiple copies, you're good to go. You can only special summon itself once per turn this way, hard once per turn. And then if this face up card in the monster zone leaves the field, banish it. Okay, so we're going to just kind of go over that again just because that is a lot. So you're going to place in the pendulum zone if you have no cards in your extra deck. All right, once again, this is probably going to be in a Monarch deck, or if you just somehow are able to go through your entire extra deck with pots. All right. So then you'll place in the pendulum zone, destroy it with its own effect, draw 1 card, and then you're able to special summon it back from the pendulum zone to the monster zone. And then you can tribute it off for something like Majesty's Fiend or a Monarch, and then activate the field spell, and then they're kind of locked. It, once again, it's not like over the top for every deck or meta decks. You're not going to like throw this in a Shadal deck and start using it. But like I said, for the Monarchs or like those, just like the super tribute decks that want to lock the opponents out of special summoning with the field spell, or just don't play any or are able to get rid of their extra deck super fast, this is a free upstart and a free summon, like back. Don't forget it gets banished once it leaves, but definitely a good card, and its consistency added to Monarchs, so I do appreciate anything like that. For pricing, it's a common out of Lightning Overdrive, okay? These are, we're seeing 11 cents right here. Obviously, if you just buy one, you're paying almost $1 for it. You get free shipping, normally of 75 or 5 or over, okay? So I mean, unless you're buying multiples or something, you're basically paying $1, all right? But always buy yourself 3. You can always, just buy a hell of a lot from these guys. They're 14 cents a piece, 72. I mean, this card's definitely like $1 or 2. And then, as always with like these packs, like Blazing Vortex, Lightning Override, we're gonna see like they're predominant right now because they're in the rotations right now for card shops to give out, as well as OTS packs. But as we know, like even pre-COVID, packs became scarce. Like, especially like once they go to rotation, they cards in them go up. So like rares will go up to multiple dollars, commons will go up to like a few bucks. Sometimes decently even. So this will go up to a few bucks. So paying 14 cents a piece on it right now is pretty good. I mean, it's pennies. You're literally like change. This is change drawer card. Okay. So grabbing them right now, super good. And I think we'll be seeing them in the future played in, like I said, things like Monarchs. Once again, we're going to start speeding it up here, okay? And this is what we're going to start doing. These are cards that if you have watched the previous Market Watch video we have on the YouTube, we talked about these next few here. And if you did not watch it, I do recommend going back and kind of giving it a gander, even if you just flash through like just parts, just so you can see like what cards are on there. And we talked a lot about Pot of Desires, and then we also talked about Super Poly. Okay, now let's kind of specify. When we were talking about Pot of Desires, we're specifically talking about Ultimate Rare Pot of Desires. When we last talked about this in the Market Watch video previously, these were $80. Okay. I picked up a set before that when they were kind of 80s to 70-ish, like it was like 2 years ago pre-COVID. I got 3 for like 60s basically. Okay. That, which was super good. When they were 80s, I doubled down and I bought 3 more. I literally bought 3 more. Okay. Can flash me. I got a Frostosaurus in here as well. Can you see it with the camera? Okay, cool. Yeah, like I said, I do this. I don't just say it. I do it. Okay. So yeah, I doubled down. 80s for Pot of Desires is super good because when you look at Pot of Duality Ultimate Rare, we see that that card is just like spiked because Duality is just really good. As always, like the fact that that pack is out of rotation, you just can't get it anymore unless you buy it from someone. Obviously has a lot to do with the marketing of it, but I mean, it's insane. And it's probably not even like what people are paying. It's just a high price so that isn't getting sold. So just keep that in mind. But I mean, they're definitely like $200 for like dualities right now for ultis. So yeah, I mean, Desires, I'm not saying it's going to about to shoot up to 200 overnight, but when you're seeing $80 for an ultimate rare that people are playing 3 of, like 2 to 3 of in almost every deck for a draw engine, that is very good. Things like droplets are like $240, which is, I mean, it's good. Like you didn't have access to that hack because of like COVID during that time for the most part, unless you're doing remote duels, as well as it's strong in the meta. But I feel like draw cards like deserve, like you think the prices of those would be higher. And when I looked into it, I found out why it wasn't higher than 80, and it's because we had a collector rare of it. Okay, and the collector rare, it's cool. I like them. I love certain collector rares, like Chaos Emperor looks really sick. BLS looks really sick. Like especially the ones we don't have ultimate rares of. Like I really like collectors like Gamma and stuff. But when we're talking ultis versus collector rare, I might like upset a few people by saying this, but I feel like I'm getting scammed if I would buy into collector rare. Like I'm just gonna keep it honest. Like ultimates have always held their prices, and they always will hold their prices. And I'm gonna die on that hill, and I'm gonna die with a bunch of ultimate rares that are gonna be worth a lot of money. Okay, because these have just pushed through. You see rares that were printed in Flaming Eternity being like $1 million. Like they're good. Ultimate rare is the way to go. That's why it's called ultimate rare. All right. Collector rare, certain cards like Gamma, when it's only been printed in that rarity, and this is the max rarity of it, I definitely do say yes, that's super cool. But when you're talking about ultimate rare versus collector rare, we're going to go ultimate rare, okay? And you've seen these drop like a few dollars, like these were slightly higher actually, and they've even gone down slightly, while these have gone up to $100 a piece. So once again, we're going to see that the consistency of tournament pack ultimates are going to override collector rare packs. Okay, so we're just going to see that. And then again, $100, that sounds pretty expensive, especially for a single card. But when you see like the prices of other cards, you're gonna like you understand that like that actually is not like the worst price of it. Okay, it's definitely not the worst. So I would actually consider picking that up, even if you have to like maybe bargain or trade a few cards. Like this will go up definitely past $100. Like these could even go up to like the duality price of 200, like 180, 200 in due time. And you even saw like OCG like hit desires on their list. So like clearly it's a good card. Some people don't like it because the Banish 10, it's not for every deck, but it is a very, very good card. I even hated it when I came back into the game, but it has grown on me a lot. And then last but not least, this is going to wrap up the market watch, and that is super polymerization, okay? And this was one of the cards I like when I was even like kind of slightly out, like not playing a bunch or like buying a bunch of cards, and like Super Poly came off the list. It was huge, and then it went to 3, and like that was super huge. And I told myself like I knew this card was gonna be printed ulti in a tournament pack. Like you can just tell. Like I'm still waiting for Ash, just saying, and evenly, but Super Poly was one of those cards I said, if it gets printed ultimate, I am buying like more than 3. I'm going to immediately buy like 3, then 6, and then potentially 9. And if I do 9, I'm going to keep it real with you because I got the 6. We're going to do it now. Now is the time, okay? Because these were 100s, then they went up to like 120s, and now they dipped. And if once again, we went over some trend watches in like the last market watch. That's why I do recommend watching it or glimpsing through it, because ultis kind of have a tendency like they'll go up and then they'll kind of like dip for like 10 20 bucks, and then they'll like double. Then they're literally, like I said, they'll go up, they'll dip a little, and they'll double. Okay, so this is doing the dip. We're seeing this go down by like to 90s. You even see this guy. I mean, I'm gonna consider 90 because of shipping. So like they're still like about $100 after shipping. Okay, so these went from 100 to 120. Now they're back down to 100. Okay, we're getting our next set of ultimate rares in like OTS packs. So this one is eventually gonna be like going like it being harder to get, and on top of it being harder to get coming up in the future, it is going to be the supply for it is probably going to be insane. Like they would have to hit this card for it to literally like not spike in price to probably $200+. Like if you're seeing, like I'm just going to say this, okay? If Forbidden Droplets is $240, which I'm pretty sure it is, we're like still sitting up there pretty like that, and I'm going to be double checking right here, okay? Forbidden Droplets. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, look at this. Look at this. All right, yeah, 240, 250. Let's call it 250. Okay. So if Forbidden Droplets is $250, Super Poly is gonna be more. Like it's gonna be up there. Okay. And the reason for that is it's gonna be one of the only outs to Phoenix. Okay. So we have, if a lot of people play like in the metagame right now, and that's why you're watching, right now in the meta, we have Anaconda that goes into Dragoons. Okay. And Dragoons is insane. Can't be targeted, can't be do anything like that. And there's only a few outs to it in the meta. Some of them being kaijus, some of them being whatever, you know what I mean? But one of them being Super Poly. Okay, because you can fusion summon with the Anaconda and the Red Eyes into the Starving Venom. Okay, well, another problem card that a lot of people are going to be seeing is Destiny Hero Destroy Phoenix Enforcer. Okay, and the reason he becomes a problem card is because he can activate his effect as a quick effect, blow up himself and another card on the board, even your own card, and then get effects off. Like even in Dinosaurs, you can really use it. Okay, and if you play cards to negate his effect, like unless it's like Dark Ruler No More or something, um, they can just chain around it with the enforcer and blow itself up, blow up another card, blow up one of your cards. It doesn't matter, and then it'll keep reviving on the next turn. So even if you target it or try to kill it with something, it's going to blow itself up, blow up a card on your board. He's going to plus off of it, and then it's going to come back. Okay, so one of the main ways to get rid of this card for good, okay, and once again, keep in mind, his effect triggers when it's sort of a battle or card effect, okay? So the other outs, even if, you can get rid of him, he's still going to come back. So that's why primary out to him is using him as a fusion, okay? And you can immediately fuse him into things like Starving Venom, okay? You can use him to fuse into your own Destroy guy, Destroy Enforcer, okay? Because his materials are level 6 or higher, Hero Monster, which he is, or one Destiny Hero Monster, which he is. Okay, so he fits both of those requirements. So if you are either in a mirror match or you're playing anything with Destiny Heroes, or once again, even if you have like Darks in your deck, or he went into it off of Anaconda, your Super Poly is going to turn his board into something you're going to be able to use. Okay. And that is why I do very much believe Super Poly is going to be super big coming up, okay? And the Ultimates are definitely the ones to pick up. If you can't, I mean, we got secret rares of them. Those are also like really, really nice in their art. I mean, their art's really phenomenal. Those are the ones that went up like as soon as it came off. So like definitely recommend though picking up your playset of Super Poly now if you do not have it. And again, if you're like able to, with the budget you're doing or whatever it is, pick up ultis, because these are going to be pushing, like, if I had to say, like, we're going to be pushing 200 with these soon. Okay. So guys, again, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully this was informational and helpful. And if it was, definitely consider subbing. Please follow, drop some comments. I like getting into conversations with people. And we got the Twitter, we have the Twitch, and as always, the YouTube. So thank you guys so much, and have yourself a wonderful day.